I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we'll try to understand how to find equation of a line given slope and a point. It's an application question. Aditi is driving at a constant speed of 90 kilometers per hour towards Toronto from Montreal. After 2 hours, she is 350 kilometers from Toronto. Write an equation relating distance and time. How long will this trip to Toronto take? Now you can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. Now when you have a word problem like this, it is better to visualize. Let us say Aditi is starting from Montreal, right, and approaching Toronto. Let's say this is T, Toronto. And at some place in between, at this place for example, Aditi is driving at a constant speed of 90 kilometers per hour. So we know speed is 90 kilometers per hour. Toronto from Montreal. After 2 hours, let's say at this time it is already 2 hours, she is 350 kilometers from Toronto. So this distance is 350 kilometers. Now write an equation relating distance and time. And second part is, how long will this trip to Toronto take? So that means the whole trip from here to here, what is the total time it will take for the whole trip? That is the question, right? So let us say that d is the distance. So d is distance in kilometers. And we have t, time, in hours. Now as you can see, as the time goes by, the distance to Toronto decreases, right? And therefore, the slope in this case, which is represented by the speed, will be negative. And that's kind of very important to understand, right? So in this question, we are given slope and a point. So the slope here is the speed. So slope here is the speed, right? And that speed should be taken as negative. So it is negative 90 kilometers per hour since we are approaching a point, right? So with time, the distance is going to decrease, correct? That is why it is negative. And this is very important to understand. And we are also given a point in this case. And the point given to us is that after 2 hours, when t is 2, she is 350 kilometers from Toronto. Distance is 350, right? So that is the point given to us. Now using this point and speed, which is kind of slope for us, slope n, we can actually find the equation, right? So we can write equation as distance at any instant of time is equal to, the speed is 90 kilometers per hour, but negative since we are approaching, right? Minus 90t, that's the slope, right? Plus b. Now to find b, we can use the given point, which is after 2 hours, distance is 350. So we'll write 350 for d equals to minus 90 times 2 plus b. And from here, we can calculate the value of b, right? So which should be 350 plus 90 times 2 is 180. Is equals to b, right? That gives us a b value of 0. 8 plus 5 is 13, 3 and 530, right? So b is 530. So from here we get our equation which represents this situation, and that is that distance is equals to minus 90t plus 530, right? It really means if t is 0, that means when Aditi started from Montreal, the distance was 530 kilometers. You get the point? That is how it is. Well, the first part is write an equation relating distance and time. So that is the relation relating distance and times, right? So that is the relation which we have. And the second part is how long will this trip to Toronto take, right? So that you can find the time t by equating distance to 0, right? So for the total trip, d should be 0, so distance to Toronto should become 0, right? So we can get 0 equals to minus 90t plus 530, correct? So we can bring it to the right side. 90t equals to 530. So t will be equals to 530 divided by 90, correct? You can use the calculator and find the answer. 53 divided by 9 gives you 5.88. So 5.88 hours, right? So those many hours. If you have to write it in minutes, then 0.888 should be multiplied by 60, right? To give you minutes, which is approximately 53 minutes. So you can say time will be 5 hours and 53 minutes. So the total time from Montreal to Toronto will be 5 hours and 53 minutes. So that is how you can solve this question. I hope you find it interesting. And critical thing to understand here is, since the distance is decreasing with time, we have to take slope as negative, correct? So if you sketch this scenario kind of here, right? So it should look like something like this, where this is the starting point, which is 530 away, right? So where this is distance and this is time, and this d-intercept represents 530, the distance from Montreal to Toronto, and the slope of this line m is negative 90, correct? And total time will be 5.88 in hours, correct? So that is how this situation is. I hope you understand and appreciate it. Thank you.